Okay, I think let's talk about some football.
Enough politics.
No, enough politics. Let's reflect. It was Nedbank Cup weekend, and yeah, I mean, David versus Goliath. Some interesting matchups coming through on the weekend, and I mean, looking at it. Black Leopards and Wits. This is one of the matches I didn't get to see, but as far as the highlights were concerned. But I see. I mean, Wits. Is it that part of their season now where could we say the wheels are maybe not falling off or are loosening? There's a screw and a bolt that's popping off because, I mean, it's crucial, crunch time as far as the season is concerned. And against Black Leopards, what's your take on that fixture?
Yeah, well, I mean, are you talking about the fixture that was... obviously, there was a fixture that's postponed and it's playing now. I think. I don't even know what's the score line.
It's half-time.
It's half-time now. It's half-time. It's leading. Okay,
and it was Black Leopards who were leading. But I think you talking in general about their season having been top of the log. I mean, mind you, they've already lost 5 games, I think, which is unusual if you're challenging for the championship to have lost so many games at this point of the season and still have to play Cape Town City. I think they still have to play Mamelodi Sundowns and they still have Orlando Pirates, if I'm not mistaken.
Sundowns at the weekend, is it?
Sundowns is on Saturday. I mean, and it goes back to Tim's point about how a team with the resources and the quality of players at Mamelodi Sundowns should be wiping the floor with everyone.
Right.
And I read an interview in the Sunday Times, I think it was Sazi Hadebe talking to the coach about why have Wits not run away with it. And Gavin pointed to that as well, to say the consistency in South African football is unbelievable. How can you have Wits, top of the log, playing Maritzburg United, new coach, their third coach of the season, and it looked like Maritzburg could actually win that game.
Right.
The gap is, there should be a clear gap. You talk about top of the log and bottom of the log. Yeah. They should wipe the floor with those guys.
Right.
By half time the game should be over.
Right.
But Wits had to
grind the result.
They had to grind the result. They left it until very late. So that's a problem that teams have always had. Even Mamelodi Sundowns have that issue. But one could argue that sometimes it probably because of their schedule and maybe the chopping and changing.
Right.
But if there's one team that sometimes can go on a run, 5 wins in a row, it is Mamelodi Sundowns.
Right.
Whereas other teams, they struggle. They can have an unbeaten run, but they can't put together a winning streak.
Sure.
So I think that's what's happening to Wits now. And mind you, this season, I haven't seen the same old Gavin Hunt that chops and change. He's actually kept to the same lineup.
Right.
But he's lost 5 games already. And Mamelodi Sundowns have 3 games in hand. I mean, who would you, if you're a betting man, who would you bet on to win the league?
No, sure.
So it's difficult. So I wouldn't necessarily say the wheels are coming off. I think it's just South African football. It's so inconsistent. Look at Pirates.
Yeah.
Everyone is happy people, but what have they actually won?
Of course.
4 years of
that's the thing we've said,
4.5 years of nothing.
4.5 years of nothing, but people are saying, oh, they are so brilliant. Look at Justin Shonga. Look at that. But what have they won?
Of course. It's always the critical stages, it seems, so far, where they've just not been able to do what needs to be done.
There you go. So I think Wits at the top of the log are suffering from the same
inconsistencies. I remember a couple of seasons ago when Baxter won with Chiefs the league, he was like, it wasn't really that we were that good, it was just that everyone behind us was just bad. It was worse than us.
Exactly.
And that's how we won.
Look, it's very interesting because you find a team like Sundowns and they cannot put 5 or 3 or 4 goals past Chippa United or Maritzburg United. Same with the big teams. So I think there should be a difference. You should be having those goals going in. Given the fact, playing for Bloemfontein Celtic, we always had a team talk, building up to play Chiefs and Pirates. You've got, from the coaches, the owners of the team, they are coming, trying their tactics according to the opponent. They are not even telling us players how we should beat Kaizer Chiefs. So you have players now trying to come up and say, guys, we need to do that, try like this, and a good day, you win the game. So it's you have that disparity in the tactical acumen of teams. And I'm sure if truly it's a big team, playing in CAF Champions League, you should be able to come and wipe out these teams and create a huge difference.
I disagree. This is professional football. You're all playing at the same level. And most of these players, you'll find that they've came through the similar systems. Yes, because
Wait, what do you disagree with?
No,
the tactical acumen, or that a team top of the log should easily beat a team bottom of the log?
Yeah, I disagree with
I think he's saying that the margins are not that big.
Yeah, because also you have to give credit to the coaching.
Yeah.
You know, you have to give credit to the coaching. Because you are all playing in the same league.
Sure.
I don't think so.
I think you are wrong. We are wrong. We have had in the in the English Premier League, France, we're having a difference.
No.
We're not.
No. And this happens everywhere. You can go.
And
I don't like the comparison of going to Europe.
Sure.
You're biased.
Yeah.
No, it's the benchmark.
Go and look in Egypt now, and look at the scorelines that your Zamalek, your Al Ahly, they are recording there. Close score margins.
Of course.
Yeah, because.
But I tend to agree with you, Vij. Okay, I mean, having gone to matches, you see that it's not a country mile that the teams are better than each other. It's the fine little margins where, we have a brilliant player that makes the difference. Or if a team that's not favored to win it does win, it's because the coach did his prep. He did his work.
Let me take you back to a game we saw just on Sunday between an ABC Motsepe League team and you see that. So that's what also what I'm referring to.
Okay.
Chiefs should have by half time.
No.
They should have been.
No, that gap is bigger. But I mean, to say
No. I want to stick to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
PSL.
PSL. Yeah.
I want to stick to what we're talking about. PSL football. And I agree with what they're talking about, inconsistency, but everywhere. But now you cannot say just because you are in the top 4, you are playing a team at number 12 or number 13, that should be a 4-0.
No. The question is, what makes you a top team?
Yeah.
In comparison to the team that is at the bottom of the log.
By the way, Tim and I don't think we were advocating for high scoring margins.
Right. No.
We were just saying it shouldn't be that close. When Vets are top of the log, playing a Maritzburg team that's hired their third coach
you
of
played
the
for
season.
Celtic.
Yes, I did.
You played for Vets.
Yes, I did.
And Celtic, even if you're low, you're down there in the lower area, in the log standings.
Yeah.
But when you go and play Chiefs,
yes,
you would pull off a good result.
Why? The motivation with the small teams like players want to show the Kaizer Chiefs technical team that you can as well hire me to come and join Chiefs. The question is, what are the Chiefs players and the second team?
But what
is the motivation of being a big team?
If you had that motivation, what has changed now?
No, what changes is the mentality of the top teams. You understand? If you're a top team and you believe you're a top team, you should be able to believe that you're better than the rest of the team.
But
and I can tell you that you can always accuse Musman of being arrogant and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, his arrogance, as it is stated, is 1-0 up before the game is played.
Yeah,
you understand?
No. Because it's just that I heard about Nasser talk about Sundowns, and when you look at it, Sundowns for the last 5 years has always been in the top 2. If they don't win the league, they finish second and go to the Champions League.
Why? Because when you hear the coach speaking, he tells you we're a big team. He's letting you know that it's a big team.
So they are consistent in getting the results that matter.
The difference between...
By the way, when I was making my point, I actually even quoted one of the coaches. I quoted the coach who's top of the log right now. And he is saying there should be a gap.
Yes.
He is saying there should be a gap. He and I think it was a perfect example to say, how can you have a team that's leading the log table playing against a team that's battling relegation, that's rock bottom of the table.
But that team was in the top 4. That team was in the top 4.
But we can't use history. We can't use history. We are talking about the current season.
The current season is where they've kept 90% of the players they had in the last season.
No, Virelli.
There's only 2 changes there.
The dynamics have changed. They are on their 3rd coach of the season.
No. I'm talking about the playing person.
No, yes, but you still need the coach, surely, to take that and turn it into something that can get a result, but can be effective.
But Kamza, if you've watched, maybe by the era of Mushin,
yeah.
If you've watched Maritzburg playing this season.
Right.
They've had a problem with scoring. And
That is a South African problem. Anyway.
not really conceding.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
The only time where they were conceding a lot of goals was under Musin Echigral, which I think he was there for 4 or 5 matches. So for me, and the fact that even there in that relegation zone, you're talking about if a team gets 2 points, you can move from number 11 to number 5.
But in that statement in itself, you are making our point about the inconsistencies of the league.
Yes, but no.
How can you be bottom of the log and after win two games, you're in the top 8?
But Vireli, you have done so many interviews at the start of the season.
Mazola, what I'm against is for you to expect a team that is in the top 5 to just run at a team that is, say, number 13.
Yes, we're talking about the gulf in the playing personnel, the talent, tactical acumen. You can have naturally talented players. You can have, trained players. You can have mechanically improved players. We are all in that category, but we are all playing on the same field of play. So the big teams always go for the purely well-refined players. They will have that in their team. We have one player who can decide a game, one player who can influence what another player can perform on the field of play. Now we have got the rest of other teams, maybe in the down one, they are getting those players what the so-called big teams have rejected. They are getting players from NFD and everything like that, trying to prepare them to try and compete with the big teams. So they are trying to use the motivation and the platform that you're in the PSL to compete against these big teams. And when you perform well, the big teams will come for you. So you have got the big teams where the players are already, their only motivation is to win the games. They have nothing else to worry about. So there has to be a difference. And that's when Coach Pitso Mosimane talks about his players and what he expects from the team, we're a big team and everything like that, is emphasizing that point. We have, in my playing career, we have got so many times when we beat Nigeria in Kampala, they come when they know they have won the game before it's played. So if the opponent, that's the lower team comes knowing, saying, guys, these guys have got 2 legs like us, we can beat them. That self-motivation, by the time they realize they lose the game. So there has to be a difference where you have a big team knowing that they have to win the league. Every game is a cup final. If you draw, you can't even walk the malls. But now you draw.
But who has won the league in South Africa in the last 6 years?
We have had Sundowns, but not consistently.
No. Sundowns has won 3 league titles.
I think they've been the most consistent if you look at it.
So, but you're having a scenario where you have Vets coming in to win the league. You've got Sundowns winning the league. There's no consistency where you can have that discussion about it. We've got Chiefs now, trying to rebuild. I don't know for how long, but the fans believe they have to be winning. You understand? It's because of the culture that they're a big team. They are expected to be winning all through, and it's not happening. And that's why they are questioning, how big are they?
It means we've got a competitive league.
Really? Are you convinced about that?
Yeah.
Do you think our league is very competitive?
I think for where we are, it is competitive.
What do you mean by where we are?
I think we have to judge by the fact that we're in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And if we are looking in the sub-Saharan Africa, tell me which league is better than this one in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Fair point. I would struggle to tell you. I would say, is there one better?
This thing about whether the PSL is competitive or not, I always struggle because, I'm very biased. I always want to say it is.
Yes.
But then sometimes I look at the result and I'm like, sometimes I watch a game and I fall asleep.
This thing is simple. This thing is simple. This thing is simple.
Yeah.
We are going to the international week.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah.
We'll count how many players from this league will be playing for their countries.
Yeah, but there are reasons why there are many players here. Lucratively, you can't go anywhere else. 2, it's a benchmark for any African player to dream of playing in the PSL because we know this is a very good. It's a very good foundation to be. There's money, but also we can easily be spotted.
Right.
And that's why you'll have very many few foreign players who are going to stay based here. It will be a short moment of time and they go. That's why you have less West African players based here, because for them, their
It's closer
base
to go to
is,
France,
you know, it's like, you know, they want to get where they can go quickly. So you won't have more West African
detours.
players. Yeah, so many. So it's like, it's a stopover for most African players. So you won't keep them here. And then what is very unfortunate at this moment in time, you get many South African players getting opportunities in Europe after one season, two, they are coming back here. It shouldn't be happening like that. And what's happening right now when you have the likes of Reda Foster and Motabi and everything, Piri. Piri was in the Vets, academy when I just
He's
joined.
never been back. He moved to Denmark.
Yes,
And now he's in France.
It was under the tutorship of Ashley Makanya and the likes of Roger Dissa.
Yes.
In that academy that they organized for him to go to Brøndby. Yeah,
yes,
you understand?
yes.
It was that
and
linkage.
at that time, when he left, he was already an under-17 international.
Exactly. But because in that moment in time, this is what is very interesting, that was a very fully fledged functioning academy of vets. The unfortunate part is like Roger, as a matter of principle, could make sure that every season you have got about 3 or 4 players from the academy who are promoted to the senior side. And that's the essence of having an academy. So there's no essence of having an academy where you have none of the players being promoted into the national squad. So it's no longer, it doesn't make sense. And that's what is happening right now with the Chelsea Academy.
Whew. Okay, guys. Wow. I just wanted to talk about a result. We got a lot more than that. As we reflect on Chiefs versus Magic. What a struggle for Chiefs. I mean, the scoreline doesn't tell half the story. I think, Magic FC will look at it and it'll look a bit unfair on them. But for the longest time, they really did go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs side, where I guess comes back to the consistency, comes back to having, players that are on big salaries, just not being able to deliver and having killed that game off. Why play the extra half an hour when you don't need to, when you're as good as you are?
I think it touches back on what Tim was talking about, the mentality of the top team. I think they arrived in Port Elizabeth thinking they'd long won the game, even though from the previous round they'd faced another lower division team and they struggled. They had to go all the way to 120 minutes to actually get it done through an own goal, mind you. And I won't lie, I think the first half, the 7 colors on Sunday plus a game without goals, that's a recipe for disaster.
You were gone.
I was gone.
You were gone.
I didn't see that first half. I probably saw the first 15 minutes and I was like, but the second half, I think, was a lot better. Chiefs created more chances, but were unfortunate. That Castro opportunity, even he himself couldn't believe he'd missed it. But I think when the legs were gone, by this time it was extra time, the Magic FC, their legs were gone. You could see. And what Ernst did cleverly was put in pace.
Yes, exactly.
Kamabiliat, Zuma and Zulu as well. And they were so quick in
they forced the mistakes.
The mistakes, the crosses and whatever. Exactly. Okay. So at the end of the day, I saw a headline on my way here that says Chiefs ease into the top 8. Far from it. I think the score line at the end of the day flatters to deceive, but they worked hard for it. Let's see what happens in the next round, because there's still a couple of lower division teams.
Do you think they're getting stronger throughout the competition, or is it just a matter of they're going to get caught out eventually, Kaizer Chiefs? Looking at their performances, is it a matter of coming against a top opponent and then either it will have clicked or either they're just going to be exposed?
Yeah, I think if you've been following Chiefs, especially in this competition, and especially against teams from lower division, they've always struggled. Yeah. From their time against Baroka, Cape Town, FC Cape Town, teams that knocked them out. And now they were playing a second team from ABC Motsepe. And you see, with ABC Motsepe, it varies. Teams in Gauteng, Western Cape and KZN that are playing the ABC Motsepe are different to your teams in Eastern Cape, in Limpopo.
Sure.
So the Western Cape, Gauteng and KZN teams are stronger.
Sure.
Because of the competition there, because of where you also find most of the ex-professional players.
Sure.
You'll find them in those teams.
Yeah.
Hence, if you looked at the game yesterday, it was not the same game that they were playing against Tornado. You could see even when they introduced Mngomeni, they were tested there and there. But we have to be honest about this. If you look at the losses that Chiefs has had so far, even in the league, under mid and top, against FC Cape Town, against Sundowns, games that they were controlling, but they were just lacking the quality to finish those games. The derby, they had that derby.
Sure.
They lacked the quality, and these things for me are happening at the right time for Chiefs. When there are players whose contracts need to be renewed, they have not yet been renewed, these players. And I think maybe it's even a strategy from the management, because by this time, when you've got a player who's on his last 6 months and he has to commit, if you are sure about these players, by now you have already concluded the deal.
Sure.
But the fact that they're going to the last game of the season, still not having sorted out this contract issue, because I think there's going to be a clear out there.
Sure.
So, and when you notice yesterday as well, I mean, some players whom I feel should have led by example, they had to be substituted even before the team can have that turnaround. And if you remember the combination of Castro, Zuma, Billiard, when Chiefs coach then, Solinas won the coach of the month and Billiard won the player of the month, this was the combination that was playing in the attack.
Sure.
So, and we know that Mirendorf has not been playing Zuma, but we saw him introducing him, and it's still early days against a tired Magic FC team. So I'm not going to say Zuma is back, but
No, for me,
but he provided 2 assists.
for me, I think
true.
Kaizer Chiefs has got a very knowledgeable coach. He knows what he can do. He's a very good read of the game. He understands the management of players. He's more for the team than more of individual players. And that's very key. And you could find that from where I was sitting and observing some of the Chiefs games that are going, you could understand the coach trying to gauge which players are for the team and those players who play individual football. And those who are always playing for individually, they are being, tried to be given less game time to try and propel them to come on board to play for the team and to play according to the tactics of the team. And I think it's a team to watch for the future. I think they are playing structured. They are playing really. You can understand what they want to do, even when there are moments when they are being failed to do that. And I think you will get it right as time goes on. I think don't write them out actually for the league title.
What?
Yes.
This season?
Yes.
Chiefs.
They still
Chiefs.
Yes, why not?
No.
I think you're right in the mathematical realm of it being mathematically possible.
Yes,
but
still mathematically,
come on. But in terms of quality of squad, compared to Vits, compared to Sundowns, compared to Pirates.
No, but Tabaira, no.
Mathematically, until mathematically it's not possible, they still stand a chance.
Okay, mathematically. let's leave it at that.
Chiefs doesn't have the squad.
They don't have the squad. That's what I'm thinking.
In fact, if there's one tournament that for me they need to steal, it's this one.
Yeah.
But, and also, people want to judge, I don't want to judge Chiefs playing against a team from lower division.
No, for sure, yeah.
Because we've already seen under mid and top how they fare against even teams.
Yeah.
In fact, they've dominated
They've been
the
stronger.
games. The games that is played there locally.
I think that's why, if you put some better players in there with the structure they have now, next season, there could be something to consider.
Yes, and
But
release about
right
6
now,
to 7 players from the current squad.
But they
bring
keep-
in quality.
But the problem with Chiefs is that they keep threatening that they're gonna do this. For 2-3 seasons in a row, they kept saying we're going to release players. We're gonna make critical changes. There was a time last season where players were threatened.
An overhaul.
There will be an overhaul. What happened? They released players that barely made it to the bench at the end of the season and kept the very core of that same team. They gave Solinas that same team that they were saying
and
they
signed
were
Wolfries.
that they were going to overhaul and signed. I don't.
Okay. Timothy, let's talk about your previous team, Bloem Celtic. I mean, looking at them against Richards Bay. well, you know, they did their job. They were professional. Patrick misses a penalty, but it doesn't matter in the end. A professional dispatching of a lower place side.
Yeah, you always think what informed the decision for Patrick to take a penalty, at that moment in time.
He scored them before.
I don't know. It was a reward for his great, servantship to the club. But I think if you look at the club, what they have been going through the whole season, with salaries not being paid, and you've got the coach Steve Compera walking away on them, and then you've got the likes of Siem and John Maduka taking the reins and trying to stabilize the ship. Yes, the talk of selling the club is still on, and I think over and above they did perform well. It was very important for them to get that result, and I think the more they continue trying to get the result, they will continue convincing the Masokola to come back on the stands. But it's quite a long way to go, because they're trying to try and get the local government on board to try and facilitate the sale of the club from the likes of Shabalala. Over and above that, I think it's a good run for them to continue the Nedbank Cup.
Okay. Mr. Veg, moving on to Chipa and Chukuma. I mean, Clinton Larson, the job that everyone thought he was crazy to take, it seems like he's found, the ability to give them that thing. I mean, I saw this game. They looked convincing. They looked like a team that, because of the personnel, with the right coach, you can get something out of them. 2-0, business as usual. What is resumed?
I was having a conversation with someone that side, and on this decision of even him going that side, somebody was saying to me, no, Clinton picked up that there's 2, 3 or 4 players that he's worked with before that are cheaper. And when you look, I think even before he arrived, as he was arriving, he also ordered that Shitolo should come from Pirates. He must be brought on loan from Pirates. And he had used Shitolo on loan from Pirates during his time at Golden Arrows.
Right.
And remember, Shitolo is more of a center mid, a holding midfielder, but he's also a utility player who can also settle when at center back and also even at right back.
Right.
And also even his assistant, Mbui Sambo, is someone who was also his player when he was an assistant at Celtic.
Yeah. So it's actually the culture, the environment was primed for him.
So, and also there's a new CEO, general manager in Morgan Mamaila, was fully behind him as well. Went for him. So you've got those dynamics that are playing here. But also when you look at Chipa is not a team that has had a bad squad. Chipa has always had a good squad. It was just a matter of getting it to work,
galvanizing the players,
yes, and also having even the good control
it's
of
about
the field.
how many coaches you can fire until you get the right one.
So for me,
defend his decisions now.
so for me, when you look at how Chipa plays now, I was very happy. I was very excited with like someone like Rachale. Rachale, he gets the ball, that he's gonna go past that player. Sure. And if you look at the first cross that he played there, and you bring in someone from the bench like Hamaldin, he'll play a cross like that, and Mayambela also coming from the bench, so far so good. Clean sheet. And
what is it now? 5 games?
5 games, and I think he's won 4 of those games and drawn only 1.
Sure.
So it's a good return so far.
I think for me, for Larson, his greatest asset is his understanding of the players. His father figure to the calm demeanor that he gives the players. And once you do that, you win your players over this. The players start playing for you.
Sure.
And I think that's what most coaches don't understand, that the players can as well, you need to show that love to them and then they can deliver. If you take it that it's a job, they have to do it. Sometimes the players may not have that extra motivation to apply themselves. But over and above, I think credit to him also to demand for what he wants as a coach, taking over, the reins at cheaper. Most coaches, they are more interested in the job itself than, putting out their feet and say, listen, this is what I want for me to deliver. And until coaches understand that and try to demand that, they will always be sacked.
Okay. And then one of the matches that saw two Premier League sides up against each other, Cape Town City versus Highlands. This could have gone completely differently, especially if that Highlands Park goal, non-goal had stood. We don't know. What was your reading? I looked at the replays. I wasn't really sure. I guess that's it. If the ref is not sure, he can't say anything.
Look, until we have goal line technology and all these fancy things, we're always going to have those debates.
Right.
And coaches like, Owen Dagama, and I think rightfully so, from the angle at which I saw it, and even from a still picture.
Sure.
I think even the goalkeeper, from the Cape Town City goalkeeper, tweeted that it should have been a goal.
Oh wow. So there we go.
So and that was in the first half. Had that gone in, it changes the nature of the game. Complexion of the game. But they didn't. Cape Town City, Benny McCarthy said he gave them a tongue lashing, and when they came out of the dugout for the second half, they were a completely different team. And it showed. They're a quality team. I think they're the team in the league that scored the most number of goals. It also shows because of who the coach is. He was a prolific striker in his heyday, and the emphasis.
They also concede a lot.
They also concede a lot. That's also true. But that also says that maybe at the back they need to shut up shop a little bit. But I suppose the philosophy for now is that if you outscore the opposition, you keep getting the wins and the crucial points. But at some point, if they're gonna try and aim for the league title, at some point, I think the coach even said they're
not ready for that at the moment.
But if a season or two from now they try, that's if Benny is still there, because there are talks that he's wanted somewhere else. But
where's the veg? That's what else does he know. Where is he wanted?
No, he knows.
Gauteng.
He knows. Gauteng somewhere next to Eskom there. Next to Eskom there. But if
it can be
capital town.
But if let's say he's still there, he needs to shut up shop and get more quality defenders and try aim for the league. I think it will be about time now, especially. I think, without preempting much, this Nedbank Cup competition is possibly between, I don't know what the final result is now between Leopards and
any updates?
But I think Chiefs, Cape Town City, and one of Leopards or Vets probably will be in it. But you still have your Golden Arrows and your Cheaper there with his run now. Clinton Larson will be fancying this cup competition also.
15 minutes to go. Still a Vets lead. 1-0.
Okay.
Yeah, at least now maybe at least we're going to have Nedbank Cup football in Gauteng, because we're watching Nedbank Cup on TV, and we've got 5 teams in this area.
There we go.